Hi guys, I'm under Katie, but it's Dave from Big Smoke.
No problem. Yeah, we recognise
Right.
you there, Dave. No worries. We
I don't
saw.
look like Katie, so sorry about that. But it's my Zoom camera isn't working, so
Ah,
I was just texting you in case you were confused. But
oh, sorry.
I'm
I just.
there.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for joining us anyway. So,
Not at
yeah,
all.
appreciate you jumping on and talking through the beers as always. So, we'll let you as we kick off. Really, we'll get a couple more people in. As always, just sort of joining us around 8 o'clock. So, hello to everyone else there joining us. First beer we'll be talking about, drinking, discussing tonight is going to be our Leadmill IPA. And so we're joined tonight. We've got Dave from Big Smoke. We've got Charlotte, our social media coordinator as well. And as you say, we'll start talking through the beers and things. I'm sure we'll get a few more joining us as we go, as always. But don't want anyone being thirsty who's waiting. So feel free to start tucking into getting out of the fridge, getting ready for Leadmill IPA. It's 3.8, really light, fresh, fruity, nice and easy drinking. Good starting beer to ease us in this evening. And so we'll have a go with this one first. So here we are. So we've got that nice, even as I'm holding the Leadmill IPA, I can just smell it just straight away. It's poured out, it's there, it's got that beautiful haze to it, and I can really just start to get the aromas coming through as well. So this one, you're gonna get that pineapple, that bit of grapefruit. And when we were working with the Leadmill, we wanted to have something really light and fresh that they could enjoy at the music venue as well themselves. And really, have a proper enjoyable drink. We talk about having it with music, with live events, and that's what the Leadmill is all about. For those of you who might not know Leadmill, it's a music venue over in Sheffield, and it's been somewhere that, it's a real institution within the city. People love Leadmill. When I was a student, I spent a year living around the corner from Leadmill, spent many nights, spent New Year's there. Saw some amazing gigs at the Leadmill as well. Dropkick Murphys, for example, one of my top ones at Leadmill too. It's always had a special place, and it's unfortunately in danger of closing. So if you do get the chance, on here there's the QR code. You can go onto there, use that, sign the petition. And so we wanted to help raise a bit of awareness with the team at the Leadmill as well. So hopefully, if you had a chance, the petition's continuing to go. And to do that, of course, again, we wanted to make this nice beer as well. So we worked with the Leadmill on the idea for the beer style. They came out to see us. We packaged it. I mean, the branding as well is fantastic. Tom Newell, who's a Sheffield artist, had worked with them to put it together. And for me, it does look really great. So I'm excited to be brewing it. Unfortunately, it's not for fun reasons, but it is important as well. And hopefully we can get some way towards them raising some awareness and helping to save the venue as well for future generations of Sheffielders drinking in the city there too. So a good start, hopefully nice and light, like I say, good fresh beer to begin with. Please, as we go, we'll keep the chat open on the side here. I mentioned we've got Dave, who's thankfully joined us again from Big Smoke. We'll talk through the beer. We'll do a couple more and then we'll talk through our collab that we've done with the guys there as well. Any questions you've got for Big Smoke, pop them in. Feel free, unmute yourselves, shout any questions in as well. However you like, we always like to keep it interactive, keep it exciting. And so questions, comments, anything, which beers you've enjoyed most. Hello, there's a nice dog there in the middle. But any beers you've enjoyed the most, any other beers you're enjoying at the time, anything else about Beer Club, please, as always, let me know. So with that, we'll talk on the next beer in there. We've got 6 in total. So again, a nice bit of a bumper month we wanted to put together. And this is a beer I'm sure everyone's familiar with. You've probably had this one before. This is a real Steadfast, the first ever Thornbridge beer that was made. Lord Marples was made back in 2005 when Thornbridge started brewing. And we began brewing on a second-hand brew kit. So we had an old coach house at Thornbridge Hall. We put the second-hand brew kit inside the coach house, brewing up around 16 hectolitres. So we're able to get 36 to 40 casks at a time, nice and steady to begin with. We were trying it out and, we're in a very traditional drinking area, lots of country pubs. We thought, perfect, we want to make a great British style to begin with. and Lord Marples came about. So 4% classic bitter, brewed it for the first 4 years, only in cask. And now, as you can see, we've started to bottle it as well. We got the demand at the start of lockdown for having Lord Marples in bottles and wanted to do more of it. So Marples is actually, he was an owner of Thornbridge Hall. So if you've ever had the chance to get out to the hall, it's a big country estates where we get the name from, where we began brewing. And Mr. Marples, he was, a wealthy man, owned this huge estate, 100 acres of land, big hall. He did a lot of work to it, but he was never actually a lord. So he basically just insisted that everyone who worked for him called him Lord Marples. So we thought it'd suit him. We'd give him that name. Afterwards, it's a bit of an honor. And we thought it worked very nicely as well for the style. It gives it that extra sense of purpose, I think, having a Lord Marples as our classic bitter. So rocking in at 4%. This one's bottle conditioned. As I mentioned, starting out in cask, and we wanted to continue that feel of the beer, that look of the beer as well, into the bottle. So we've got that extra. There's some live yeast in there. It does bottle condition nicely, so it keeps that carbonation going within the beer. And you've got that nice head around it as well. It's got a great body to it in bottle or in cask as well. Nice color that you'd expect. So it's that kind of deep, dark, almost autumnal mahogany. And then when you get this one a bit forward, you don't get, this isn't a style like the Leadmill IPA, where you get this huge hit of hops straight away in the aroma. This one's a bit more subtle, more traditional. Again, now I'm looking at it more. That head is starting to come together really nicely. You get it's kind of creamy. The bubbles are dissipating, but it holds it really well. And then as you get on the aroma, you're going to start getting that kind of, that little bit of sweetness, that caramel toastiness in there as well. And it follows through right into the palate. So we're talking a little bit of kind of orangey, spicy, maybe marmalade even you might pick out from this one. And then after that, that like lemony citrus. And it does work really well on the mouthfeel and the body too. So a firm favorite from everyone at the brewery. And it's, it stood the test of time, really, now being 17 years as one of our absolute core cask beers. We have to have it in cask all of the time. We have to be able to put it in all of our pubs. We have lots and lots of pubs around the UK. And actually, we've just sent some out this week to Finland and to Italy as well. We'll be pouring this beer next week in Sweden. So it travels far. There's a demand for this classic British bitter style. We're certainly happy to fulfill it as well, keeping it again as classic as possible, and really hopefully within that trend. So all English hop, all English malt, and that nice, fantastic color on it too. So that's the kind of, I suppose, the first couple of beers we have there this evening. I don't want to talk through, of course, too much before introducing Dave again properly. And so this one is not a vegan one, the Lord Marples. So that's one that we use finings for as traditional cask beer. But we do like to have a bit of a mix of the vegan and non-vegan beers as well. But we'll move on to talking now, of course, about our latest collaboration. So I know lots of people enjoyed Pigeon Fancier. We were able to brew that here. And of course, we want to do a return leg and a good chance to get down south and, learn a little bit more about each other's breweries again too. So Dave, if you don't mind talking us through the creation that has been created at your place this time.
Everyone, yeah, thanks James, and thanks for having me on again.
No, of course, thank you.
Yeah, so it was great to actually have the guys down to us. We're just in Esher in Surrey, so we started in Serpentine, just up the road from that, but moved to like 10 minutes down the road in Esher. For those of you like horse racing, right by Sandown Park. So that's kind of where we are, if you know that. But yeah, we're really excited to kind of work with you guys again, and I won't claim any credit for this because I'm not a brewer myself. I kind of manage the sales and some of the operations in the brewery. But essentially, we wanted to try and create a kind of nice summer, easy drinking 4.5% pale. We're best known for our pales, I would suggest. And we kind of wanted kind of bit of a kind of fruity, citrusy thing. We don't often work with a great deal of fruit. So it's nice for us to, with these collaborations, to kind of try different things. And I think it's come out quite well. So the hops in this, what you will find, it's not overpoweringly orange and lemon. There's kind of reason for that. In truth, I think we might have wanted it to be a little bit more, but you still get that kind of zestiness from it. But there's two hops in this, which are Motueka from New Zealand. One of our head brewer is from New Zealand himself, and one of our owners. So we're owned by two guys, James and Rich. And Rich is a Kiwi as well. So you've got two. That's why we kind of use quite a lot of Kiwi hops sometimes. But you get a kind of citrus, a bit of sweetness to it with the Motueka, but it's a really nice hop to work with. And Amarillo, which is a lot more common, I guess. I think it's one of the top 10 hops in terms of what it's used globally. But you get similar kind of lemon, grapefruit, maybe a little peach in there as well from that, and you get a little bit more floral aroma from that particular hop. And what we did, so we kind of put the hops in the in the boil with about 20% wheat with the hops, and then we added at the same time the kind of zest. So you have quite a lot of zest of orange and lemon. We brewed, I think it was about 65 hectoliters in total. A package volume that would probably be close to 5,700 liters, just for scale. Don't know how that compares with most of Thornbridge beer, but probably for the kind of specials, probably about the same, I would think, or maybe a bit smaller. But essentially, and then we add actual orange and lemon juice as well. So you get the subtleness. You would get a lot more. It would sometimes with fruit beers, you get a hell of a lot more flavors really in your face. And with doing it this way, it's all kind of done with naturally. So we kind of don't use any flavorings or anything like that. You know, like the Thornbridge guys, we make like really lovely beers, but we like to do it the right way. So that's why. So it's a little bit on the subtle side, but still, I think we were kind of going for a kind of St. Clement's pale at the start of the conversation. And then we kind of ended up with this. And then the dry hop, so in the fermentation vessel, we dry hopped it again with the same hops, but also with more zest actually. So there's a hell of a lot of zest in it. You don't quite get the full flavor, but I think still you're still getting a kind of nice a nice rounded pale with some nice flavor of the lemon and orange anyway. And I think we will like it. I don't know if anyone's tried it on, or they might have tried it at Peakender on draft potentially, but the keg beer is really came. I think it's maybe a little. It's really nice to have a pint of it. Certainly, that might be kind of more because you sat outside in the sunshine. Kind of works quite nicely with that. So that's kind of the beer. I should have asked. I can't remember where the name came from. It was kind of we're not the best at coming up with names. It's quite an arduous process sometimes. So forgive us for that. But I think overall, you know, it's a nice beer. We hope you like the branding. It was kind of led by us on this occasion, as we were the home brewer. But I think it looks quite nice and not too out of the ordinary for Thornbridge's branding and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's the beer really. But yeah, fire away any questions whatsoever. But it was a real pleasure to host you guys, and we'd love to do it again at some point.
Yeah, for sure. I know, of course, George had come down and raved about it afterwards. He thoroughly enjoyed himself down there.
Yeah, so George came down, and I think he was involved in the brew, and I think afterwards we did kind of a small event at one of our pubs. We got 14 pubs now. I lose track. I think it's 14 now.
Wow. Yeah.
And a couple of and some airport sites as well down south. So it's kind of it was a nice one. And then we went to did a bit of an event at one of our pubs, the Antelope in Serpentine, which is actually where we started brewing in the first place. Still brewed in the back of that, and then we kind of been going we're about to celebrate our 9th birthday, so we've been going quite a while. But we got a lot bigger with a bigger brewery about 3.5, 4 years ago nearly. So so you'll probably see us a bit more now than you would have done certainly pre that move to Isha.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, have you got anything coming out of the brewery? Of course, last time, a few months ago, you were telling us about all the projects, but what coming into winter, of course, autumn, winter, it's a little different. What have you got on the horizon?
So we've just released today, actually, a interesting collab with, we did a collab with Maui Brewery in Hawaii, from Hawaii. Unfortunately, we did it at our brewery, not Hawaii. But we had Garrett over from Maui, who owns Maui, and we did it just before kind of London Craft Beer Festival. So it was kind of part of that, and the Brewers Congress in the States kind of matched up a few American breweries, and we managed to get Maui from Hawaii, which is great. So we've done it's called Mango Moon. It's a mango pale basically, but it's a smash IPA, even smash pale. So I'm being corrected by my colleague and housemate. But it's literally come out of tank today, so we canned it today. And I think similarly, it's mango, but it's not massively in your face. But it's really nice, kind of end of summer smasher, I would say. And apart from that, I think we've got a couple of projects on the horizon. We distill spirits as well. So I think we do gin at the moment, but I think we're going to switch to and do a spiced rum, which will be interesting. And I think a low or no alc beer made coming out. We have a beer called Electric Eye, which is kind of flagship pale ale. I think we are trying to do a kind of low ABV version of that, which we're hoping to have before Christmas.
Awesome.
I think I'm trying to get them to call it Electric Lie instead of Electric. I'm not sure. Rich is totally on board with that. But that's the main things. And then on pubs, we kind of slowed down a little bit because we opened I think 6 last year. I think we're doing 1 more this year. So that's kind of what we've got going on, which is kind of it's always hectic with us, and we kind of just trying to keep things interesting as well for everyone, and that's kind of what we've got going on.
Yeah, pretty non-stop then, to be fair. That's exciting.
It's good.
And then especially, of course, we have our 0.5%, but that time of year, December and January is always good for low alcohol beers for sure, with dry January, but also we find, people wanting them over Christmas too. So
I think we're trying to try and bring it out kind of November for December. Not wait till January. I just there seems to be more and more demand in our pubs as much as anything. So I think it's something we keep talking about. We're just going to get on and do it, I think, finally. I think there's some really good ones out there. There's also some less great ones. I think we've kind of experimented, and we've, to be honest, failed a few times. So I think, to try to get that right is actually quite, it's really quite a specialist thing. So we're lucky to have some great brewers, and they won't release anything they're not really comfortable that you've got the full flavour of a proper beer. So that's kind of why it's taken as long as it has, but hopefully we'll have that this year.
Yeah, good. No, and certainly we can attest the same thing. It took us a long time to get ours right and come out with it as well, but it's a good part of our key range now to the 0.5. So they certainly go down well all year round once they're established. If you're doing Electric Eye in that format, I'm sure it'll be popular as well. So Yeah, it'd be good. And the beer, I mean, this one, talking of beers with slightly more alcohol, at least I think it's that lemon juice that actually, for me, I really like get right the way through. Like you get that, your traditional flavors as you'd expect in that nice hazy pale, and then almost in the center of my mouth, I get like this real like lemon juice, that sharp kind of citrusy. I think works really well. So it's very nice and good to have as a collaboration too.
Cheers, thanks.
Yeah, no, thank you. And thanks for having us down there as well. You mentioned the branding, and it's very nice. It's fitting, I think, for both of us. It works nicely. You look at it and it ties in, what type of beer it is too. So yeah, thank you for having us and putting everything on for us to brew up the beer as well. And we'll talk a little more, but feel free, jump in with anything else you've got coming up or want to talk about. And Tom's just mentioned there he had a pint at Peakender as well. I think you nailed it really with sitting in the sunshine, enjoying it. In a full pint of it is perfect. So yeah, especially in a big field there. So glad you enjoyed it, Tom. And hopefully, we'll see much more of you guys. Are you doing sort of much more around, I suppose, the whole country? Are there areas you're going into more so now that we can find you in?
You'll start seeing us, a bit more of us in kind of north. We kind of are heartland, I suppose, is London and surrounding areas, but we are now with a company called James Clay who distributes nationally now. You won't see us quite yet in any grocery stores, but that might come soon, but at the moment not quite. So at the moment, you'll probably, if anyway, you'll see us in pubs or a couple of online retailers and that kind of thing. But yeah, we're getting more and more, certainly more and more, definitely out there up north, and we're going to be spending a bit more time up there. From a certain review, kind of pushing it a little bit more. So hopefully, bit more in the coming months.
Perfect. Oh, good. We were lucky enough, to have lots of the beers at the brewery turning up in boxes as well. So my fridge was full for a good while actually. So it's always nice to have tried the range and have them. And so if anyone, I know you've got your web shop as well, haven't you? And like you say, online retailers too. So probably your best way to get hold of it. So yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you for that. And again, thank you for having us down and letting George come in and brew with you guys as well. It was definitely a good day. So
excellent. It was a pleasure. Yeah.
Cheers. And so make sure, of course, for anyone who missed it last time or hasn't tried the beers, check out Big Smoke online through all the social media channels and everything else as well. You can get hold of all the different beers and collabs that they're able to do too. And so from there, we'll talk a little more about the other beers. Again, please keep the conversation going in the chat there with Tom mentioned Peakender. Anyone else who was there, enjoyed it, is coming up to see us. If anyone is coming to Indie Man next week, we're going to be at Indie Man. We'll have the team there the whole week. We've got something special being launched with one of our favorite Indian restaurants as well, with Bundabus too. So keep your eyes peeled for that if you're going along. We've got people at the Cavendish in Sheffield tonight, and let me see where we are as well. So next week we're going to be at the Gloucester Green and going to be at the Hog's Head as well. So we'll be all over, but keep following our socials. You'll find a little more about where we're going to be, where we're traveling to. But definitely, if anyone is making it to Indie Man, the team will be there. We'll have Charlotte, our events coordinator, is going to be there the whole time. We'll have Alan and James Buxton and George. So pop along, say hello, hang out, just have a bit of a chat really. And like I say, there'll be some special beers on at Indie Man as well. So please make your way down, say hello to us there. It's always nice to meet up in person when we can properly. Dom Metcalf should be down for at least a day or so there too. So please do make yourself known and say a good hello to us too. So from there, we'll talk about one of our favorite series, The Quiet Storm. So this one we've got in front of us here is the Hallertau Blanc. And so we've done, of course, the series of Quiet Storm collaborations. Quiet Storm, we've now done pretty much every month. We've tried a lot of different hops. We've wanted to use New World hops. We've used the big Mosaic and Galaxy. And we also like to use more of the classic hops as well, especially, the Feallan and the Hallertau as well. So those have gone well for us. We like to see the difference. If you've had the chance to try them alongside each other as well, hopefully you've enjoyed the different ones too. And for me, this one, again, it's just crisp. It's fantastically easy drinking. It's got that kind of like gooseberry grape, that like sharp crispness that you'd really expect and want from, it's like a German classic hop, but taken just a little bit to that next level as well, giving you more of a fruity character on the palate. You've got that nice lightness to it. So with the Quiet Storm series, in that showcasing, we've got a bit of a mix of these bright ones where we think that they work very well in that format, but also then ones where we've done the Nelson Sauvin, for example, where we've actually tried beers like Kipling before, and we want to make it hazy and have a bit more of an experiment as well. And so this one, we've had a lot of good feedback, to be honest, so far. So hopefully everyone else has been enjoying this one. Again, I mentioned about that crispness in the flavor. It comes through on the aroma too. You got the nice white head. I'm always really enticed by the colors on these ones. I've got my nice big glass here as well, which I always enjoy drinking these styles of beer from. You get that nice collection of the aromas in there for something so fresh and single hopped. It's fun to drink from glasses like this because it does really help you just pick out a little more of that aroma and recognize the hops a little more as well. And so hopefully this one's gone down nicely too. And again, if you've got anything that you haven't seen in the Quiet Storm series, I know we often ask it about Calvados when we have those, but if there's hops that you like, that you think would be worth trying, we have had all this good feedback for Quiet Storm, so we are going to keep it going as well, of course. So please just keep letting us know what hops you want to see, what you think could work well. If there's any more traditional kind of, European hops that you'd like, or New World ones that we've not heard of or tried before, please just keep the suggestions coming. Hit us up on social medias, any of our channels as well, and they'll keep coming through too. And while we're talking about that, I think also if you are looking for any beers on the website, Charlotte, we've got at the moment Derbyshire Day, is that right? We're celebrating? Yeah, so at the moment we are celebrating Derbyshire Day, of course, as we're in Derbyshire, although I'm in Yorkshire this evening, but for our brewery and most of my days will be in Derbyshire, just over the border. And so to celebrate, we are having a bit of a discount on our online shop. So pop on over there, you'll see that, and you'll be able to try, if there's any beers you want to go back to, anything you want to try as well, head on over there as well. I think that's right, isn't it, Charlotte? We've got that at the moment.
Yeah. So until midnight tonight, you can get 15% off with the discount code DerbyDay15. And I think that's just on full cases and mixed cases as well.
Perfect, thank you. So please check it out. If there's any, like I say, we've got a couple of the Quiet Storms, so if you liked any particularly, you can try them alongside, and any of the other beers we've got on there as well, any you want to add in too, so please go for those. And then hopefully people are enjoying these. Please let me know what's your favorites so far of the evening, what you're enjoying, what are you going to be drinking afterwards. Are there any other beers out there? Did you try any at Peakender that you really enjoyed? Anything at all? Just send us over in the chat and we'll talk our way through them as well. So the next beer, we love to get into the season for Oktoberfest. We're always excited about it. And Feallan is our take on the classic fest beer. So the Oktoberfest style, and really towards that like light Marzen, that German classic one. Here, I'll pour it in. I've got excited and got out my big Lucas Stein actually, just to pour this one into, as I'd enjoy it, drinking it properly. And so you can see instantly we've got that nice, it's getting a little autumnal in that kind of amberish way as well there. It's not to a full dark, like really malty Marzen style, but it definitely got that Germanic bent to it. It's all German hops, all German malt. And if you take a smell, you're going to get that nice kind of richness start to come through already. It's got that great lager body on here, and it's crisp, it's fresh, but that extra maltiness here, for me, it's the little kind of bready, toasty, a little sweet note on there too, but just very, very easy drinking as well. So hopefully this, like I say, we talk about pairing it with, you can pair it with all the classic from pretzels to, big Oktoberfest roast chickens as well. And we know this would go down well if you're drinking it in steins. So We'll be celebrating properly ourselves. If you're heading out to any of the pubs or anywhere like that, keep an eye out for this one. And hopefully the weather holds out for us this weekend, drinking a bit more too. Favorito for Tom as well. I was enjoying it. Had to pop to the shop on Sunday. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's, I mean, the weather held up perfectly at Peakender again for once, and Favorito, I know, went down very well. We were on the, was on the can bar the first night of Peakender, and that was certainly a popular one. Lots of people coming up who'd already tried it, wanted to get cases of it ready for the tents as well. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that one. I've still got a couple of those in my fridge. I'm hoping for a slightly nicer weekend, I'll be honest, properly enjoy it in the sunshine outside, but I know it's going to go well the whole time anyway. So yeah, glad you enjoyed that one there, Tom, and hopefully people are enjoying their way through the Feallan as well too. And so from there, we'll talk about our final beer of the evening as well. We'll get into, again, another series that we have on at the moment. Please let me know how you were enjoying Feallan. In fact, I didn't mention the name. So originally, we talked about, we looked at, again, we're always looking for names, as Dave mentioned. I mean, you know, there's so many beers and we're always doing them, but we always still want them to have a meaning and to have a harking back. So it's actually, we talked about, we looked, Feallan was the an old English word meaning to fall. And so we kind of linked that in. We knew we were going to be releasing it in the autumn time and fall and autumn. So we took it from there for Feallan. So a slightly longer link than some of our other names, but we thought it worked quite nicely. It gave it, and even the name we thought sounded quite nicely autumnal as well. We've got those more classic colors on there, the blue and white, that little bit of a nod to Oktoberfest too. And again, it's hopefully perfect for this time of year as we're really getting into the autumn. So you'll see lots of that one heading out and about. You'll find it in our online shop. I know our COO has been posting photos of him on Twitter this week, drinking it, enjoying it out in the Peak District as well. So wherever you find yourself with Feallan, please do enjoy. But that takes us on to the next in the series. This is Necessary Evil. And so I know most of you will have enjoyed some Necessary Evil before. It's been a staple of our beer club and of our series. The original, so it began as a 12% Imperial Stout. And then really for us, the original one was aged out in bourbon barrels first. So we took this big Imperial Stout, we popped it into these bourbon barrels for 8 months. We left it there, we tested it, we got it out into bottles, we bottle conditioned with a little champagne yeast. And that's how the Necessary Evil, really the barrel aging and everything else began. And a couple of weeks ago now, we'd entered it into the World Beer Awards, the bourbon version. It was voted best wood-aged sour in the world, which is absolutely fantastic. The brewers were so pleased to win an award like that and be recognized, you know, really as best in the world for that. It then moved on into the category of best flavored beer, which took lots of different beers within that category as well. And it won that too. So it has been very successful for us, the Necessary Evil, something that we just love to have in our range. We love to be able to do. We know that big dark beer that the brewers really pride themselves on. It just works so nicely as well with having the different barrel aging too. So from the bourbon, we, as you know, beer club members will know, we've added it into different barrels. We felt like that was the next step. So we always like to have the bourbon version available. But then we want to try new things. So we've had the triple sec and the cognac and rum and everything else. So keep an eye out for more coming in the future. But this one that we're talking about now is the Calvados. So they're always quite interesting to find, you know, when the brewers go out, and we've had gin barrels in the past, all sorts of ones that maybe we wouldn't expect from anywhere else, these different barrels that have aged different spirits. And we want to see how they work really with the beer. And we're always a little nervous when we put apple on any sort of tasting or flavoring, but this one, we feel it kind of deserves it really. You know, we've got this French brandy from Normandy, this Calvados. We wanted to take these barrels that housed Calvados in there, and then we put our original Necessary Evil, so the 12% version, goes straight into these Calvados barrels. It sits there for 8 months. And in the same way as we did the first time around, we take it out, we add it into, really, these are our favorite barrel aging bottles that we use. They're nice and thick, they give a good presence, and they're recognizable. We add it into there, and then we're adding champagne yeast in as well. And I won't add any flavor, I won't impart anything particularly, but it gives a nice carbonation. It works really well for bottle conditioning here. And it will be a bit flat straight out the barrel. So we're just adding that back up, giving the carbonation, and they're really just helping, especially on the palate. At 13%, it could be cloying. So you need that little bit of fizz, light carbonation, just to pick it up, just to dance it out a little bit for you there, and hopefully allow you to get a bit more flavor from it. And with these ones, we talk about 10 to 12 degrees. So you don't want them straight out the fridge. You like to warm them up a little bit. You get that fantastic darkness on here. And we measure darkness in beer. You know, we have a color scale in here. This is one of the darkest beers that we brew. And of course, you know, we know that in our lab, but you look at it and you can also see that as well yourself. Sometimes you look through a beer and you get that kind of red or light amber color on it, but this one is pitch black right the way through. It's got that fantastic, nice light tan head around the top as well. So not quite white, but certainly more camel or tan. And then as you go in, even if you just swirl it round and you just see it stick to the edge of the glass, it's always a bit of a treat to look at, especially, you know, it spends a lot of time in barrel. We put a lot of love into them. So they are beers that we want to really savor and nurture ourselves as well. So even just looking at them for a little while makes me happy. So then we've swirled around, we have a bit of a look. And then you instantly, again, we're very far away now from the Leadmill IPA, the first one where we could pour it out and we could smell it straight away. You pop your nose in here though, and it's just, it starts to get, for me, it's really dark fruit, it's caramel. You start to get a little bit of that kind of brandy instantly coming through, and it differentiates from those original Necessary Evils that we've done as well too. And then after that, it just goes, it sits there right in the mouth. And again, that flavor, if you get that little carbonation, as I mentioned, and it just coats the palate completely, you start to get more of that like little vanilla, that apple I mentioned comes in as well, which does really set this apart from the original ones too. It's that dark fruits on top of it as well. And for me, it's just everything that comes together so well in this style of beer. So as you might be able to tell, I love the Necessary Evils. Love talking about them, drinking them, enjoying them. I'm going to be, you know, after we finished having our chat this evening, I'll certainly be just relaxing and enjoying the rest of this one here as well. And it's always a fun Thursday actually afterwards as well too, where I'll sit there and not talk for too long and just, you know, make sure that I've calmed the vocal cords a little bit too there. So yeah, Dave, Feallan's a great fest beer with a nice sweetness, so thank you. I'm glad you've enjoyed that one. It's again one that we like to we've not done it for a little while, the Feallan, but we wanted to bring it back as well. Joe saving up the Necessary for the weekend, probably a good idea actually to wait for them, but hopefully enjoy it. As I say, if you've got it maybe stored in a cellar or somewhere else like that, and you take it out, and around 10 to 12 degrees should be about perfect. It'll open up really well, and then just savor it and sip it through, and hopefully enjoy that one there too, Joe. And yeah, please, if anyone else has got anything, please, you know, pop it in the chat or let us know what you're drinking afterwards, what you're drinking before, any you've enjoyed, most favorites. We'll have some apologies as well. We were a little bit later in the month than usual with our Thornbridge Beer Club box, so thank you for bearing with us this month. As you know, efficient as we always try to be, sometimes there'll be something pops up and it pushes everything back a little bit. So thank you again for the patience with it too. And we are planning to be out much faster next month as well. So you should get your boxes in good time next month. Lots of very exciting beers coming up as well. We'll be letting, you know, talking through each one as well as always. Hogshead next week, we're going to be there on Wednesday. So pop on down and check. I'll double check, Charlotte, is that right? We're going to be there on Wednesday, aren't we?
If Wednesday is the 28th, then yes.
Perfect. So Tom, yeah, pop along and come see us down there. Yeah, we'll have a couple of the team in there. We'll be pouring beers. We'll have lots of beers available there as always. We do like having, you know, doing these in person too. So come and join us. Dave, yeah, well, thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate you taking the time. It's good to have you twice. So thank you very much. Appreciated it. Tom's mum's happy. To go away. Perfect. Well, we timed it well for you then, Tom. But yeah, so overall, thank you again. Please, you know, reach out to us, hit us up on social media, drop us an email, give us a call, you know, anytime. Just let us know how you're experiencing Beer Club. We do always appreciate the feedback on the beers, the styles, everything, what you're enjoying in them at the moment. Please let us know. And hopefully, you know, join us all again next month as well. We'll be talking through the beers. We'll let everyone know a date that we have together. And I look forward to talking to everyone then. But again, Dave, thank you very much for joining us. It's been great to have you on and hearing more about where everything's at with Big Smoke now as well. And Charlotte, thank you for looking after everything, organising it all this evening too. And thank you everyone for joining us, for coming on and yeah, just engaging with us, having a chat, letting us know how you're enjoying the beers too. So cheers. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. Have a good one. And yeah, take care, guys. Thank you all very much. Cheers.